Okay, so we are back into the Ultimate Marvel Universe, and we pick up with Ultimate Universe number 1. Okay, so this picks up right after the ending of Ultimate Invasion, where we pick up with Iron Lad and Doctor Doom. Now, something to remember here is that when it comes to Iron Lad, this is Tony Stark, and this is also Reed Richards being Doctor Doom, because when it came to the Maker, when he had rearranged this Ultimate Marvel Universe, he basically put the Reed Richards of this universe into a Doctor Doom mask, and he became the Doctor Doom of this universe, but a good guy, Doctor Doom. Either way, they're right now trying to change the world, to make the world better, because they realized that when it came to the Maker, he had removed a lot of different characters who would have became heroes in this universe. And so right now, we see them breaking into Asgard. You already know which character they're trying to save and trying to make a hero, and that would be Thor. Thor was locked away in Asgard. Now, at first, we have no idea why he was locked away, but as we go through Ultimate Invasion, we're gonna learn why and see Thor, well, unfortunately, leave the book midway through. But either way, you now have the new version of Thor in this Ultimate Marvel Universe. But the question is, why was he locked away? Now, before they are able to leave Asgard with Thor and begin the process of trying to fix the world, well, Thor said he has to get one thing before he leaves. We already know what that item has to be. It, of course, is Mjolnir, his hammer. He needs his hammer. Now, this is where we kind of find out that Lady Sif was the warden of this prison, or the prison that was built for Thor. And so she was assigned to make sure that Thor was never able to escape. But if he did, put him back in his cage. Now, with that being said, we pick on her right now saying, Thor is going nowhere. Thor is going to stay here because, again, he broke some crimes. Now, again, we have no idea what Thor did to get locked up. And matter of fact, who's in charge of Asgard? Is it Odin? Is it Loki? Or somebody else? Either way, you do have Thor say, listen, Sif, there's no way you'll be able to stop me. There's no way that you'll be able to win a fight against me. And so you have Thor just go ahead and call over for Mjolnir. And once he grabs it, he goes Ultimate Thor, or this new version of Ultimate Thor. And let me say, he does look somewhat cool. The colors do bother me a tad bit, but at the same time, still kind of cool character. Either way, you have Thor being able to teleport Iron Lad, Doctor Doom, and also himself out of that room and away from Lady Sif. And so we do see our heroes teleport over to Stark Tower. Now, this is where we pick out the idea of what happened to Steve Rogers in this new timeline. And what I mean by that, remember, at the end of Ultimate Invasion, we saw our heroes find Steve Rogers, the Captain America. And matter of fact, when they found him, he was still frozen. And that was one of the many big changes of this universe, because there was supposed to be a point where he is found, he is defrosted out of that ice, and he becomes a new hero of this age. But unfortunately, nobody ever found him, and nobody brought him back to life. And that was done thanks to the Maker. He removed a lot of different characters from becoming heroes in this new universe. For example, Peter Parker was also changed as well. We were left to believe that somehow he never did become Spider-Man. Now, with that being said, though, we do have a new Ultimate Spider-Man book coming out in 2 months. And so I'm left to wonder what really happened when it came to the Maker confronting Peter Parker. But either way, you have Tony Stark and also Doctor Doom tell us that when it came to the super soldier serum, it died with Steve Rogers, meaning that no one else besides the Maker knew about that thing at all. It was never used again in modern time. And that is very huge, because let's not forget, in the original Ultimate Marvel Universe, a lot of the characters were basically getting their powers from different variations of the super soldier serum. But in this universe, it's completely different. Either way, you have Tony and also Reed tell Thor, had a hard time saying that, They're trying to bring Steve Rogers back, but they have to be very careful with the idea of defrosting him and slowly going ahead and bring him back to life without trying to do some harm to his body. And so we come to find out that Lady Sif had followed our heroes back to Stark Tower because she wants to hear more, but at the same time, let's not forget, she is the warden to Thor's prison. And so with him being out there, being an escapee, a convict on the run, she has to bring him back. But she wants to hear more words from Tony and also Reed on what they are trying to do. And that is when you have the two heroes say, this universe is incorrect. That basically, thanks to the Maker, he changed our universe to fit his image. A lot of heroes were supposed to be in this universe, but unfortunately, they never came to life because Reed, or the Maker Reed Richards, was trying to make a perfect timeline, a perfect universe. And the problem is, he kept failing over and over again. And so he just kept trying over and over again. But unfortunately, the last time he tried, he ended up getting locked inside his own future city. And so it's Reed and Tony saying, we have time before he is able to escape his city. But with that time, we have the ability to bring the heroes who were supposed to be in this universe finally into this universe. And so that explains why we're going to have Black Panther, Spider-Man, the X-Men, and probably other characters down the road later on in different books. But for right now, those three characters. And so it's really Reed and Tony saying they're not going to change the entire universe back to the old school Ultimate Marvel universe. It's going to be a new kind of Ultimate Marvel universe, with them trying to bring the heroes we're supposed to have in this universe. And so you have Tony and Reed say, when it came to the Maker, he had this one particular base where there were different kind of items that belonged to people who were supposed to become heroes. If we are able to give those items over to them, then the world could possibly change for the betterment to bring in better heroes like Black Panther, Spider-Man, and the X-Men. But then it leads into the next problem. See, once they do arrive in Latveria, they are able to break into the castle, Doom Castle, which of course is owned by the Maker, always being used by the Maker as a way to hold on to all the different kind of items that belong to different heroes. Either way, when they break into Castle Doom, they are able to find all the different kind of items that can be used as a way to bring heroes into this universe. Now, at first, it does seem like it's going to be an easy job getting all these different kind of items out of here back to Stark Tower and begin the process of trying to bring in the heroes. Because you have Dr. Doom tell us that he was able to get all the files that the Maker had, all the heroes' lives that he had changed. And so their goal is to undo all those things. Unfortunately, right when you have Thor begin the process of trying to teleport all the different kind of items, well, Thor gets stabbed from behind. And we kind of find out the person who had stabbed Thor was Captain Britain. And this is the perfect time to explain what in the world happened in the Ultimate Marvel universe. And what I mean by that, when it came to the Maker, when he was making this universe, one of the big things he tried to fix was the idea that the human race will always hunger for war and violence. The problem is, though, you can never get rid of that hunger, except you can control it. And so when it came to Reed Richards, he built a council. And when it came to this council, each member of the council owned a part of the world. And there is a very good reason why. Let me explain. Because when Reed, the Maker Reed Richards, realized that when it came to the human race, they're always going to have the hunger for war and violence, and he wanted to control it, what he did was he said, listen, every once in a while, one council member would go bad. Not really, but to pretend to be bad, to do bad things across the world. And when they do that, the rest of the council members in their countries will come together to fight against that one bad country. And once they're able to stop that one bad country, that will feed the hunger of war and violence to the human race for a good period of time. But when it's time again, they'll just pick a different council member to go bad, and the other ones will come together, and the process goes the same over and over again to help feed the hunger of war and violence. And so Reed found a perfect way to control that. And when it came to Captain Britain, he was part of that council. Now, the reason why he's here is to get revenge against Iron Lad, because he believes that Iron Lad is Howard Stark, because Howard Stark is the reason why we're getting this whole brand new universe. He was able to go toe to toe with the Maker, but also help Kang from the future take down the Maker. And so with that being said, it's just Captain Britain trying to get revenge against Iron Lad because he believes it is actually Howard Stark. In reality, it's Tony Stark. But you have Iron Lad blast Captain Britain in the face and then tells Thor to get them out of there, back to Stark Tower. And so you then had the story begin the process of jumping back and forth between two different settings. Of course, you have our heroes go back to Stark Tower and begin the process of trying to save Thor's life. While you have that happening, you then have Captain Britain go back to the rest of the council members to tell them what happened to him. That, hey, he was attacked by Stark. Now, at first, they believe it is Howard Stark. Then they realize Howard is no longer around, which means it has to be Tony Stark. Now, for the council members, they're looking at this as opportunity. And the reason why, because with the Maker gone, there's now no one left in charge of the council members, which means that sooner or later, you're going to have a full-out war to control more areas of the world. And so with that being said, when it came to North America, it's an area that has been left behind by the Maker untouched. And so it's now the rest of the council members saying, hey, you know what? This gives us an opportunity to begin the process of taking pieces of North America for our own. And matter of fact, the first thing we need to do is to bring some violence into that area. And that is when you have the council members take over a satellite that belongs to Stark Enterprises. And when it came to that satellite, it begins to shoot down a powerful beam. Now, when it does hit Stark Tower, but also buildings around Stark Tower, killing off thousands of people. And the reason why, because now they're going to blame Tony Stark for that attack. And then it could most likely mean they're going to use as a way or excuse to kind of bring some control in that area. Have other countries come together as one to bring some better control to North America and try to see which member is going to be able to get North America for their own. Now, this is huge because Stark Tower was hit while our heroes was inside the building by that powerful beam, and we have no idea what happened to them. And so to close on today's video, we pick up 1 week later. Now, with that being said, you still have most of the world wondering what happened when it came to that attack. But right now, the person who is being blamed the most is, well, Tony Stark, because it was Stark Tower that was hit. It was Stark Satellite that did the attack. And so all fingers are being pointed at Tony Stark. The problem is Tony Stark, along with Thor, Sif, and also Reed Richards, the Dr. Doom Reed Richards, they all disappeared. No one knows where they are at. But at the same time, this is the book setting up things to come in the other titles down the road. So like Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate Black Panther, Ultimate X-Men. We come to find out there's a war going on right now in Africa near Wakanda. That brings in Ultimate Black Panther. We also see who died in that attack and 2 characters who are very important in Spider-Man comics, they died. That was Norman Osborn and also his wife. Now, I have no idea what clue was left behind when it came to the X-Men, but either way, they're also getting a book. And so this begins the process of us kind of learning more about this new world, this new universe, and see how are the new characters going to adjust to becoming heroes in this very new changed world. But with that being said, this is where we are going to end today's comic book video. So please leave me a like down below and subscribe. Also, if you have any suggestions on books I should read, well, please let me know in the comments below, because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But guys, see y'all next time. Later.